is going to struggle when you leave them. Because every narcissist needs supply. They need someone who is going to provide to them energy, characteristics, their life force, sex, money, and resources. They need someone who is going to elevate them, someone who's going to lift them up, someone who is going to motivate them and make them feel better. Because as you may have experienced already with a narcissist, they are prone to depression and also to emotional outbursts, to where they become very angry and they lash out at you. So they need someone there to regulate them, to calm them down, to make them feel better about themselves. Which is why, of course, when you leave them, they're no longer going to have that there. They're no longer going to have someone to regulate them, to make them feel better about themselves. And also, often as a fashion accessory as well. Someone who makes someone look good. Someone who has all of these things going on with what they're able to provide to them. Someone who has connections or associations. So they're going to miss out on all of these things because when you leave them, it's not going to be accessible to them anymore. And this is how they will end up struggling without you. By how much they needed you, it will reveal to you just how much they're going to struggle. Because observing them or looking at their social media, that's not going to reveal an accurate depiction to you. That's not going to reveal to you what's going on in their life after you have left them. Because they may not want people to know, and especially for you to know. They may want to portray a certain image to you to make it look like they've moved on and they're so much happier without you. So they may not want you to know that. They may not want you to be aware of it. They may want you to think that they're special, they're entitled, so they can do as they please to people. They can do whatever they like and they can still go off and everything's going to be fine for them. That's what they want you to think. They don't want you to think that now they're paying the price, now they have to deal with their karma. That's not what they want you to think of them. They want you to think that they're going off and now things are so much better for them now. So, yeah, they're going to struggle when you leave them. They're going to struggle when you're gone, and this is why they desperately try to hold on to you. I mean, sometimes if they've completely drained the life out of you and you've got nothing left to give, then they may just discard you without a second thought. But even then, they're going to keep tabs on you. They're going to keep you on the shelf so that they can come back at another time, because no matter what they find anyway, they're never going to be satisfied. They're always going to be searching for something more. It's always going to be, what's the next thing after that? Or how can they get more out of it? It's never going to be a moment where they finally feel satisfied. So they're going to keep coming back to you, and they're going to keep keeping tabs on you. Because they're probably never going to find another source at your level. It's probably never going to happen. And I know that because you're watching my videos. You're listening to this information and it resonates with you. And you care about it. You cared enough to research about this disorder and to find out what is going on with them. That reveals already that you must be a grade A source of supply. That you must be an empath if you care that much to try and find out what's going on with them, what's wrong, why are they not happy with you. So of course they're going to struggle without you. Even if you didn't have anything to provide other than just the emotional regulation, they're going to struggle without that, because that's one thing that they struggle with. And this is why there were all of these blow-ups. They always had a problem. They were never happy with you because they saw it as though you could do something about it, as though you could resolve that for them. And that's why they were able to be vulnerable in some sense, to where they were able to show that side of themselves to you, because they were seeing it as though you have the power, you have the energy to do something about it for them. That's why they reveal that side of themselves to you. And many of you did regulate them, you did make them feel better. But the odds are that they may never find someone else like that ever again. They may never find someone to replace you. But even if they do, I mean, you just got to think about it like this. I mean, the better the supply is for the narcissist, typically the less time that it's going to last. Because if it's a good supply, they're going to be like a dog around a piece of meat. They're going to be tearing it apart, just consume it as much as they can. They're going to be all over it like a rash until there's nothing left, until it's gone, until they've destroyed it. That's what they're going to be like with it. If it is a grade A, potent source of supply, and that's how they were with you. That's what you had to go through with them. So even when they do find something that is really a high-grade source, they're just going to ruin it. The better that it is, the more that they're going to ruin it, and the more that they're going to blame and punish that person for everything. That's all that's going to happen. So nothing good is going to come out of it if they do find a really good source of supply. And this is how you should know that you've got nothing to worry about. Because I know how it is. Once they've done all of these things to you, they've cheated you, betrayed you. I mean, it kind of feels unfair, doesn't it? It feels unjust to think that they can go off and they could be happier now without you after all of the things they did to you. All of those times that they wronged you. I mean, if there is a God, if karma does exist, then that just doesn't seem right, does it? But actually, no. Instead of having feelings of vengeance, as it is for me, I just feel sad. Honestly, I do. I feel so much compassion for these people, because I know the reality of the situation. I know that why they do these things, it's because they're miserable. They're very miserable, angry people. It's not because they're happy and they're having such a great time in life and they just go around carelessly annihilating people, robbing them, because they just don't care about anything and now they're so much happier. It's actually not like that at all. They want you to think that it is, because then that gives them a thrill when they can get you to believe that. But actually, no, it's the opposite. They're very miserable, they're very angry, and you should know that better than anyone, because they reveal that side of themselves to you, especially through their actions and behaviors. They're very miserable, angry people, and that's why they do the things that they do. So that's how, despite the horrible things that were done to me, I just don't show it. I mean, I'm a very calm and composed person. I'm sure some people in my situation, after the things I've been through, they would probably be very angry and they would probably be seeking revenge. But that's only because maybe they idealize the narcissist in their new situation, think that they got away with it. But for me, I'm able to see things more accurately. I'm able to understand what's really going on, because I've had a lot of experience and I've done the research. So I know it's not going to be like that for them. There's no way that someone can have those ill intentions and motives, those hidden agendas, and just the intention to deliberately cause harm to someone, to betray them, to deceive them. There's no way that someone like that can do those things and then move on and be happy or live a good life or have a good relationship with someone. It's just never going to happen. That's never going to be a reality. It might make a good movie, but life just doesn't work out that way. It just doesn't. It never has, and it never will. Bad people who do bad things, they don't live a good life. No matter how it looks on the outside, no matter what they portray to you, it's fake. I mean, of course, a bad person, a bad vessel, how can that have a positive experience? It's just not going to happen. They're going to go through absolute hell. They're going to drive themselves insane from doing these things to people. It's not going to result in anything good for them. And I can assure you of that. Because it's in their vessel. It's their brain, their body, that is conducting these behaviors, these acts with ill intent and a desire to cause harm. So there's no possible way that this vessel that they have can have a positive experience, especially for them to be able to sustain it. I mean, this is why they need supply. This is why they have to get your emotions, your attention, your reactions in any possible way that they can. Because for them to be themselves in their mind, in their body, it's an absolutely miserable experience. Just as it was for you to be around them. It was miserable. It was very uncomfortable, and that's how they feel every day. This is why they need these distractions. This is why they need to escape. This is why they need supply. This is why they can't live without it. And this is why it's not like you or I. When they're around other people, it's all about themselves. It's all about what they want and how they want things to go. It's never about you because they can't have a connection. Because they're miserable people. They're traumatized. They've done so many horrible things to people. So all they can do is think about themselves now. All they can do is attend to themselves and get everyone to attend to them. And if you're finding this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let's get this very important information out there, because I know there's a lot of people out there who's going through this. They've been harmed, deceived, betrayed. And maybe they're hurt thinking that the narcissist has just gotten away with it. That now they've just ran off into a new situation. I was just thinking it's kind of like that old cartoon Scooby-Doo. I could have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. That's what they say, isn't it? At the end of every cartoon. If it wasn't for you meddling kids. But that's just it. I mean, even though a lot of times, narcissists, they do get away with it. They don't really get away with it. I mean, it looks like they do. But mentally and emotionally, they are suffering as a result of the things that they have done. And this is why they need supply. This is why they need reactions. This is why they can't live without it. This is why they're going to be struggling without you. They're going to be dying inside. They're going to be really just making someone else's life miserable. Now, if it's not you, it's going to be someone else. It's going to be a miserable, uncomfortable, pressurizing experience for someone else who's going to be going through emotional turmoil every day that they are with them. Exactly what you had to go through, all of those times that they were neglecting you, your emotional needs, they were putting you through hell. You had to go through all of that, and that was what made them feel more comfortable. Now that's what it's going to be for the next person who's with them. That's what the next person will have to go through. And they may not be as tough, they may not be as resilient as you are. I mean, that's why the narcissist was all over you like a dog all over a piece of meat. That's why they were all over you like a rash. That's why they couldn't get enough of you, because you were like this emotional sponge. You were just absorbing it all up. They may not be like that with other people. Other people may push back. Other people may crack very easily. So they may not get that kind of experience with another person. If they do that with another person, another person may just point it out immediately, just point out that they can see, that they're aware of what the narcissist is doing. And some people could even become violent. Some people could call the police. Some people could do horrific things to the narcissist. Not everyone is going to be like you. Not everyone is going to be so kind, so loving, so forgiving. Not everyone is going to be like that. And this is why they really held on to you. This is why they held on to you to the point where they drained the life out of you. Like they were wringing a towel. They squeezed every drop out of you until there was nothing left. This is why, because they never know when they're going to get that opportunity ever again. They never know when they're going to find someone like you ever again in their entire lives. Because the odds are they've probably never found someone like you before. And this is why they hold on to you. This is why they're so controlling. This is why they don't want to let you go. This is why they may come back and hoover you, stalk and harass you. This is why. Because they never know when they're going to get that opportunity again. They never know when they're going to find anyone else like you. Because you're rare, you're an empath. There aren't too many people like you in this world. There aren't too many people who have such a deep well of life, love, energy, and enthusiasm. There aren't a lot of people like that in this world who can just sit there for hours listening to all of their nonsense, or being up until 3 o'clock in the morning when you've got work the next day at 7 a.m. There aren't a lot of people who are just going to sit there and tolerate that. There aren't. And that's why they held on to you. There aren't many people who they can do all of these things to, and they're still going to be able to blame, shame, and punish them, and make them feel like they're the ones who are bad. Most people aren't going to be seeing it that way. And it's not always just so much that you were a fool, you were a doormat, although that's how they see you. Some people may think that way, but really, what if you're just a nice, kind, genuine, loving, empathic person? Because many of you, it's not that you're weak. It's not that you couldn't, if you wanted to, just stand up and give it right back to them, or manipulate them, or even fight back and attack them when they attack you. It's not that you can't do that. It's not that you don't have the power or the strength to do it. You could. You were just nice. You were just a genuine, authentic, sincere person. And they saw that as a weakness because it was a weakness for them in their childhood with their narcissistic parents. When they were vulnerable as a child and they tried to love and trust their parents, and then that got them hurt, that got them abused, that got them exploited. So that's where they see it as a weakness, because it was once a weakness for them. And it's not a weakness for them anymore. Now they see it as a strength. To be distant, cold-hearted. They see it as though that means they're winning now. That means they're powerful. So yeah, I can assure you without a doubt. I mean, I've been doing this now for, researching about this disorder for almost 7 years. I mean, I really know what I'm talking about when I say this. That they are going to struggle without you. They are going to struggle with that type of person who tolerated all of their nonsense and listened to all of their garbage, everything they had to say. And they were able to gaslight you, and you blamed yourself, you doubted yourself. And also, you got onto YouTube, you researched about all of this. They're not going to be able to replace someone like that. It's never going to happen. They're not going to find another you. They're not going to be able to. They will try. They will try to find another you. They will try to replace you. But they're not going to be able to. And that's why inevitably they're going to come back. They're going to hoover you. They're going to stalk you. They're going to keep tabs on you. Or some narcissists, they may just find someone else who's nothing in comparison to you. Nothing in comparison to what you were for them. And they'll just be delusional about it. They'll just tell themselves in their minds that this person is grade A. This person is better than you, when deep down, they know that's not the truth. But it's what they have to tell themselves now. So I hope this brings you some comfort, because, you know, this is the truth. They are going to struggle without you. And you just got to remind yourself of what you were for them, what you did for them. All of your attention, your energy, your life force that you gave to them to uphold the grandiose false self. And also to soothe them when they were playing the victim. To try and rectify the situation anytime that they said that there was a problem. Just remember everything you gave, everything you provided to them. And realize how most people wouldn't have done even a fraction of that for them. And most people wouldn't have tolerated even a fraction of what you put up with. They wouldn't have. And that's how you got to realize that, yes, you were manipulated, you were victimized by a narcissist. And they took it for granted. They didn't appreciate you. But yes, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it brings you comfort, knowing that despite whatever you see from them, whatever they're trying to display to you, the reality is, if they're not struggling now, just give it time. They will be struggling without you. They will be going through a difficult time. Without being able to pull the strings on someone, to manipulate them, to control them to their liking, to get the things that they want to get out of them. Without having that emotional regulation tool, that puppet, that doormat, without having that in their life, without having that toy, that plaything. Without that, their life is going to be miserable. Far more miserable than what it was when they were with you. If you thought that was bad, I mean, just imagine them without that toy, without that tool. Imagine what they're like then. That's how you know that, yes, they're going to be struggling. They're going to be going through it. So yes, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let's get it out there. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Hit the subscribe button and click all notifications so that you will be notified when I go live again. Donations are greatly appreciated, no matter how small. There's no ads on any of my videos at the moment, so I'm not receiving any revenue, despite all of the hours that I'm putting in every day. I just spent about 5 hours editing my video, which I will be uploading to Premiere in the next 8 hours. So yeah, you're welcome to donate. You can donate by going to my PayPal. It is paypal.me/Narc Survivor. And if you would like to book a one-on-one coaching session with me, just go to my website. It's narcsurvivor.co.uk. And also you can follow me on my Instagram. See my post from earlier this year when I was in the Philippines and I came back here again now. My Instagram is Narc Survivor YouTube. Thank you all for joining me on another Narc Survivor live video. I appreciate all of you, and I will talk to you soon.